What is up? Welcome back to Talks with Amy. I am your host. I wanted to come on here and basically give you guys another episode. Talks with Amy is about self empowerment and also self growth, but also having self awareness of where you are at currently. So, I myself am in this progress with you all. So, everything I say, I take it with a salt because I'm growing as well. Okay, so today's topic is 5 things that I learned working at a dealership. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background of where I come from and how I've grown into the career that I am currently now. So, I am currently in sales. I'm not in the car business. I did leave the car industry. Dad had passed away. I think it was March that I left. My dad passed in February. So, I started a new journey. Ever since then, I have sold solar and I am now in a different field for sales. I do want to get into that later on. I'm not ready to talk about it because it is a process, it is a progress for me, and I'm really excited about it. But I just want to say that honestly, anything you put your mind to it, you can do it. Like, we're going to get into that with detail, but this podcast is basically 5 things that I learned working at a car dealership. And I have been working in the car industry since I was 17 years old. I was working at a very independent, smaller dealer, different kinds of dealerships. And the way that these kind of just work is very, very different. I wouldn't say the brand necessarily, but um, dealerships in general, they don't operate in your proper standard like corporate job life if you're working in the sales field. Okay, I was working at as a receptionist, and I was good at, I guess you can say, persuading people to buy a certain kind of car, or just kind of like answering any questions they may have had. And I was bilingual at the time, so I mean, I still am, but at that time, it was like it puts you on a different level. And honestly, if you speak more than one language, don't take that as don't take that as something whatever. That is gonna take you on a different level than just knowing one language. But anywho, so I was working at this a smaller dealer, and it wasn't a franchise. So obviously we sold used cars only, and it definitely built character for me. I think that that's where I kind of learned a lot of my sales experience. Honestly, learning how to sell in general is going to be solving a problem, and we're going to get into this. But anyhow, let's go ahead and start. I learned how to sell. Okay, this is a very great thing to know in your life. I think everyone should know what the basic meaning of a sell is. Honestly, learning how to sell is basically you're solving a problem for a person, okay? You have the service, you have the product, you're solving an issue. If a person comes to you and they've broken a foot and you're a doctor and you know what to tell them, you know what to give them, you know what to prescribe them, you are the solution to their problem. So, understanding this in any kind of service, this goes for any kind of field, side hustle in your business, in your even if your mom sells food, she sells, you know, clothes, or she does some sort of service, or people around you, you know, your dad or someone that does lawn care or construction, they're solving that in itself is already a solution to someone's problem. Okay, so perfect. That's number one, sales. Learning how to solve a problem. And also, it builds character. Like, learning to sell will build your character because there will be a million no's. But once you get to that yes, I promise you, it feels like this big accomplishment. And you're like, someone said yeah to me, someone's willing to take this offer that I'm giving them. And it may not be so important at the time as to where it's like, oh, this, product is not mine. But you are hired for that, So you feel some sort of pride and okay, I got so many no's. I got so many times I got rejected. so much time I spent out on the parking lot looking at different cars and telling people about them, and they all said no, but this person said yes. That yes is going to take you to a commission, which is like making that extra money for what you put your work and effort into. That builds character, okay? Number two is building your brand, building your own brand. This goes into sales in general. So everyone is different. Everyone has a different personality. Everyone talks to people differently depending on how you are and how that person is. Okay? So I tend to be more talkative and more attentive to someone's needs whenever they come to me about something that I can offer them. You are building your brand. You have confidence in yourself. You walk into a building and you say, okay, everyone here sells cars or everyone here sells this, but no one can do it like I can do it because I am myself. You know, I had this general, I had this sales manager that I worked with, and I would listen to him sell cars because we would do internet sales. And shout out to him because he probably knows who he is. If he's ever listening to this, like, you are one of the people that have taught me so much about sales and the car industry. But basically, he would call these people or he would have them in front of him, and they would be like, okay, but I'm gonna get a, the same kind of car, same kind of mileage, same kind of, you know, price, same kind of this, same kind of that. What makes it different that I buy from you versus I buy from this person here? Okay, perfect. He would literally flat out tell them, like, okay, well, if they're much less than this vehicle and you think that's going to be better for you, go for it. Like, do it, no one is stopping you. But I will tell you, someone who's going to give you the best service and the best attention is me, because I'm him. He was like, I'm him. So whenever I would hop on a phone call, I would do cold calls. I would They would ask me, like, okay, well, that what makes you different than everyone else? I'd be like, I'm Amy. There is no other Amy like me, and I'm gonna make sure you're well taken care of. Like, putting that confidence in your conversation, literally, I will tell you, it does wonders. And that goes into any kind of aspect, like any kind of field that you go into. If you go in there with that kind of confidence, they want that. They want that person who's going to bring them value to them, to their company, to their group, to their friendship. So having that kind of confidence in yourself is literally top 10 of the 10. And honestly, I can go into a little bit detail about how to invest in your confidence, how to invest in your persona, how to invest in your language, how you speak, how you talk, how you present yourself. But that would be for another episode, because I will stay here for 20 hours. But you take this everywhere you go. If you don't stay in that same dealership and you go to a different one, or if you go into a different field, or if you have this networking going on, you were literally taking that brand that you have created for yourself, going with that and taking it there and bringing some sort of value. Okay, so it does set you apart, it does set you different, because I'll tell you this, like, it's not that you're conceited, it's not that you're cocky, but you literally know the value that you bring to the table. Okay, no one can do things like Amy does. Me, I'm her, of myself. Okay, there's many other Amy's that I'm pretty sure they're excellent, they're great, but I'm Amy Guerrero. So you need to understand, you're whoever your name is, and you can do what you can do because you've been given a gift, and you need to be confident in that gift that God gave you. Okay, I will do this biblically. Every person is different, okay? I think I mentioned this earlier, when you're obviously talking to a client or you're just having a conversation with a person, depending on how they are, I have learned that working at a dealership, everyone is different, every situation is different. They might like the same car, but they approach it differently, or they can be more direct, or they can be less direct, or they can be more like, so depending, or they can be an emotional buyer, they can be direct buyer, like someone who's like, okay, well, it has to logically make sense. So every single person is different. No one is going to be the same. No one, literally no one. So learning that and taking that wherever you go, you're able to adjust yourself to the person, to conquer the cell, to close the cell, to, like, okay, this is what we're doing, like, match energies. Like, if they're crossing their hands, like, cross your hands to, or like, you know, matching their energy in a sense of, if it's positive, do it. That way that you're showing them that you do care what they're saying, you do care how they're acting, and you do put importance to that person. That will help you be better in all aspects, in conversations and friendships and your career. So that's really important to know. I know this is so deep, but like, I've invested so much time and so much energy into um, the time that I was selling cars. It was amazing. I loved it. Like, it was challenging. It kept me on my toes. 10 out of 10. Okay, so number 4 is networking. You're able to meet, like, going back to the same situation, you meet different people every single time. So this means that literally every single time that you talk to a new person, they're working a different area. They come from a different ethnicity. They come from a different, you know, you could literally have a billionaire, a millionaire walk in there and they want a certain car. And as long as you're a good conversationist and you talk to them and you want to know about them, you make them talk about themselves, they're literally going to give into whatever you're talking about and they're going to take you into importance. And you never know, that will literally bring a connection to you, that will bring a friendship to you, that will bring some sort of something in your life. And I know it goes really deep, but you can literally take this anywhere with you, like day to day basis, going to the gym, you know, having your little groups. Like, networking is so important. And I learned that networking is, that's where I learned networking. Literally, that's where I learned all of that stuff. All right, so number 4. Um, the commission and the success that you get from this. Okay, so working in sales, starting your career in sales literally boosts you up from here to all the way up here, because not only are you learning a skill that you show up to work every day, but you're also not just putting in, you know, your punch time, you're leaving, you're clocking out, you're doing this. No, you are actually literally working for getting that commission, for getting that little extra money if they end up buying this. That gives you some sort of high, like a good high. Like, okay, now if I sell like 3 of these in one day for, you know, freaking every other day for like 3 weeks, bro, my paycheck is gonna be great, or this is gonna be great. Like, you take that into any field, flipping houses, if you're able to, like, if you did wholesaling real estate, if you are able to contract about 2 3 houses a month with a commission of 10 grand each, like, that's going to make you want to work harder. That's going to make you literally boost your self-esteem to a proper and positive way, to where you're like, okay, this is what I like. I can't go back to a regular 9 to 5. I can't go back to a place where I have to deal with mediocrity or averageness. Like, that's not what you were built for. So you can make so much more out here in these kind of industries. So working at a dealership is really, really a great start for you to. Okay, and then that was the 5th thing, but I do want to go into depth a little bit about how my mindset changed when I started working at the dealership. Um, it wasn't any particular one, but honestly, I've worked at one, two, three. I worked at 3, and I have almost 8 years of experience. Okay, yeah, 7 actually. Okay, basically, I'm very big on Jesus. Like, I love investing in my relationship with the Lord, because this is part of why I am the way I am and why I am where I am. Okay, Proverbs 10:4. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of diligent makes rich. Hear me out. I don't know if you know what diligent means, but you need to go search that up right now. Okay? If you're working diligently at everything that you do, you will literally bring in all your harvest. It's like you're sowing your seeds and you're going to bring your harvest and you're going to become successful if you literally apply that principle everywhere you go. Okay? In a way that shows care or consciousness in one's work or duties. You're showing you care about what you're doing at the moment. Okay? Like, for example, if you are a gamer and you're playing this game, and you are literally diligently, like eagerly wanting to get these like kills on Call of Duty or something like that, like you are literally diligently doing this in order for you to get that score, or diligently, you're being more proper with like your training, like you're counting your reps, and you're going up in weight a little bit by a little bit, and next week you're doing the same thing but a little bit more weight. Like that is working diligently at what you're doing. You're tracking your macros, you're being more specific about your goals and what you want. That is working diligently. You are going into any place in your life, every aspect of your life, working diligently, you are going to get a harvest. I learned that literally because coming from a place where you don't just show up to work and you clock in and you clock out. No, there's more to it. You actually have to put in the work to actually see your your what you sowed harvest, for you to gain all of that. Okay? And a slack hand causes poverty. Of course, if you just don't show up for yourself and don't show up for the future you are going to slack. You're going to become that person. Proverbs 12:24. Diligent hands will rule, but laziness ends in forced labor. Take that for how you want. I don't know what you took out of this today, but I really do hope that there was some sort of learning. I've learned a lot. I can get into depth about so many things because I love sales. I'm a saleswoman. Yeah, I actually had I stepped out whenever my dad passed away. As if you know me, then you know a little bit about what happened. I did step out of the sales industry in 2024, and it was a place where I was at mentally, where I just didn't want to deal with anything, that was taking a toll on my mental and all that stuff. I just needed to get back right. So I did. I had an opportunity to work at a law firm, which was amazing. And I really do think that confidence literally can get you anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. You need to, of course, there's skills and things that you learn that will help you sharpen, your character, your skills, all that stuff. But if you take your confidence with you, you will, and you can, and it's mandatory that you will have your harvest. Like, you will literally reap a harvest because of how you treat yourself, how you act. I did have an opportunity to work in a law firm, and it was very amazing. But once you get into sales, you can't leave. So I went back, and I'm excited to see what this brings forth for me. And I will take you guys on this journey. So expect more from me. And thank you for listening to this podcast. It was just short, podcast, but I do think that you can gain a lot from it. And just understand that if you really want to win out there, you're going to have to work diligently. You're going to have to do the thing. And you have talents and you have gifts and you have things that are not in anyone else but you, because God placed that in you only. Out of the thousands of billions of people, you have a gift that surpasses a lot of these people. But you need to learn to find it. You need to learn to connect with your creator, connect with Jesus, for you to figure out what that purpose is. And with that purpose, you will be great at anything you do. And if you're looking to be in sales, I mean, do it. Go for it. Take the risk, because you will never learn if you never take the risk. You have to be willing to learn along the way. And honestly, that's how I've been taking my life, because that's another thing I learned too, is risks. Take those risks, because you will never know. But anyways, I hope you guys some success this week, and give it all you got. Work diligently every single day at every single task, and I will see you next time, and have a blessed week. Love you.